So welcome back to my sports betting case study on Betfair laying at $1.01 and $1.02. So this is going to be the final update on this case study as it's been going for at least 6 months, and I just wanted to give an update on where it's all finished up and what I'll be doing with it, and will I be continuing with it. So the case study is about laying everything you can at $1.01 on Betfair. Now, there were a few rules to this case study. The first rule was I'm only looking at sports, I'm not looking at racing markets. They were excluded based on some advice. And I am looking to lay everything at 101 in all markets which don't have different levels for you to select, like handicaps and totals, but pretty much all match odds, money lines, correct scores, everything you can think of, over-unders. And the last thing was I wanted to get the lays in as early as possible. So I was putting these in as soon as markets came up, so I was at least close to the front of the queue, if not at the front of the queue. I didn't care about turnover. I didn't care about how much had been matched in the markets. These were going in very, very early, and they'd sit there. So even on some markets like esports, I would be the only person sitting in there, and of course could get picked off in play when games were getting close to the end and one team was obviously winning. So there's a lot of improvements that could be done to this, but let's jump in and have a look at the numbers. So for the $1.01, I placed upwards of 2.7 million bets in the 6 months, and I got matched on 355,000. Now, the reason you get matched on so little number of bets is because you're in markets like correct score where there could be 10 to 20 different options, and you will always get matched generally on a winner in the market, and you're not going to get matched on the losers. Now, I did win 4,069 of those, which is a little bit above 1%, which is a very poor strike rate when you think of it, but we ended up with a profit of $338. And on top of that, if you were paying commission, you would have paid $330 in commission, and if it was at 2%, you would have only paid $132. So if we took commission out of it, you would have been up about $670, as these numbers are based on 5% commission. So depending on where your commission level is, you could have made a little bit more or a little bit less than what is showing here. Now, obviously some markets have commission that is a little bit higher, but in general, the default commission for most markets is 5%. So here's the chart. You can see it got a little bit more volatile when a few sports came on, and it's remained that way, and it's gone up and down all over the place. But in general, the chart's going to go up by the looks of it, and it's got a nice little trend there. So I'm going to call this one profitable if you were to lay at $1.01. Now, a lot of it does mean you need to get in very early, and you're probably going to need a custom program to do that. Most of the software on the market likely won't get you the bets in as early as what others can, and where you end up in the queue may impact how profitable you are with this method. But saying that, you can give it a go, and providing you've got the bankroll there to withstand those really long losing runs, because a 1% hit rate is not very large, you may make a profit. And it all comes down to what you're paying commission as well, as we've already talked about. But overall, the $1.01 appears to be profitable over the long term, just laying blindly without putting in any thought and not cancelling the bets at all, and getting picked off in play where a team has already won because they're up by a lot and you're the only one in the market, and people take the free money that's on offer. Now, I also did it at $1.02. And the reason I did that was I just wanted to test a bit of a different price point and see what would happen. Plus, it's a 100% risk over the $1.01, because now you're risking 2 cents instead of 1 cent per lay. So I ended up doing almost 2 million bets on this, or lays, and we got matched on 331,000. Now the reason you get matched a lot higher on this is there's a few more that come down to $1.02 in play and then bounce back. So we had quite a few more winning lays at 7,253, which again is not a great strike rate. And in the end, this didn't cover the commissions or even cover itself, so it ended up losing $567. Out of that, the commission was $901 at 5%. So if you took commission out of it, you would have been up about $330. So very slight profit without having to pay 5% commission. Now, if you only had a commission of 2%, you're still going to be down by about $200. So commission does have a major impact on whether these things can be profitable, and obviously you want to be paying as less commission as you can. Now, if you were lucky enough to have a commission of 0%, you're going to make a very small profit on a very large number of bets, and that could just be due to variance, but it's more than likely that these markets are fairly efficient, and so it's going to stay around that level of just profitable or just slightly losing. So here's the chart. This one does not look as good. It obviously took a bit of a hit and has been in decline for quite a while, and that is why we were showing a loss. Now that's likely just because, again, other sports came on and it was just that time of year. So we obviously started this in a good period where it went up very nicely, but since then it's taken a bit of a hammering. Again, you're getting picked off on a lot of these without cancelling bets. I just left everything in play. So there's probably a few things that you could look at to improve it. So before I finish off, if I was going to improve this, I'd be looking at a couple of things that you could do. So cancelling at halftime or cancelling 80% into the games, so that you don't get picked off on the games where, say, it's a soccer match and one team's already up by 3 goals and there's only 10 minutes to go and it's very unlikely that the other team's going to come back. Now, you probably will lose a couple of those winning lays as well by doing that, but overall it's probably going to become a much better fit, and you may end up making a bit more of a profit. So that's something you could look at. I would also look at what happens in those markets where I was the only one, because there was very little volume or no volume. So you could look at something and say, okay, there's been 0 in-play volume traded at half time, then just cancel those bets. Again, it's about getting out of those bets where you're going to get picked off because you're just putting in bets that are laying there until the game finishes, and people will take the free money if they're monitoring the results and watching the game. Now, they're not getting a lot off you, but they do add up, obviously, and you could probably turn this into a profit if you looked to see what you could do around cancelling the bets. So with that, I'm going to leave it. I will be looking into this and seeing what I can improve and making some modifications and turning it into something that just runs in the background and makes more profit for me than what was on this quick case study. But this case study was about collecting data so that I could see if there was an opportunity there or whether there was nothing and I should go look elsewhere. So hopefully you got something out of that and you've got some ideas that you can implement as well. But thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe and like the video. But I'll try to put out a new set of case studies in the next few weeks and see where it ends up. Thanks for watching.